Today we're going to replace the screen on the MSI A5000-040US Laptop Computer. First thing we need to do before we do anything is to remove the battery from the unit. So I've got it flipped upside down. You just undo these two latches and then we just pull the battery out. Okay, the first step in replacing the screen is to remove the 4 bumper pads in the 4 corners of the trim. And you can just do that with your fingernail or some adhesive. Just kind of pull it off carefully and don't remove the adhesive that's on there. And this will expose the 4 screws that hold this plastic trim piece over top of the laptop screen. Okay, now I'm going to remove the 4 screws that hold on this plastic trim piece. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this one first. And I'm going to put it in the plastic bag with the bumper pads. I'm going to do the same thing with the other 3 screws. Okay, now that we removed the 4 screws, we're going to go ahead and remove this plastic trim piece, and it just snaps off, so we can usually just use our fingernail. We'll go ahead and get between the gap here between this trim piece and the back panel. Start pulling till we hear it snap. You can hear it snapping. And then we can just kind of work our way around. And then there you go. Okay, so now we remove the plastic trim. We've exposed the LCD screen and the metal frame that holds that screen in place. Now there are 8 screws that hold this screen in place. There's 4 on this side, 4 on this side. So we'll go ahead and start removing those. To access the top 2 on the left and right, you might need to loosen the brackets up here and on the right here. And that'll kind of free up this bracket to access this screw a little bit better. So we'll go ahead and do that first. We'll go ahead and loosen this. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. You don't have to take it all the way out, just loosen it just to allow you to pull this bracket back a little bit, because this screw is really hard to access. We go ahead and remove the first screw. And we'll do the same thing with this side. We've got the bracket slightly loosened so we can access that screw. Once we remove these 2, then the other ones are easy to access. So we're going to go ahead and take the last 6 off, 3 here and 3 here. Okay, once you removed all 8 screws, basically that frees up this LCD to be removed from the bracket. So what we want to do is we want to lay some sort of a padded sheet. I've got this packing sheet right here. Lay it on top of the keyboard or something else, piece of cardboard that'll protect the keyboard. So we'll lay it on top of the keyboard, and then that allows us to take this screen and connector's on the bottom, so you want to keep the bottom in place and pull out the top, and just carefully, keeping the bottom close to the back panel, just drop it down onto the keyboard and onto this padding. Okay, once you've dropped down the screen, that's going to expose the connector and some thermal insulation that's back here. So that's what it looks like. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and peel back this plastic clear tape that's over top the connector. Just want to peel it just back far enough so that we expose the gap where the two connectors mate. And then we go ahead with just a flathead jeweler screwdriver, and we go ahead and we push this little ear on the right and this little ear on the left right here to separate that connector without damaging it. And then what we do is this cable for the connector is secured here with a piece of black tape. So we'll go ahead and remove that to free up the whole connector cable. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this black thermal insulation piece. We want to save that and use it for the new screen. So we start peeling it back over here. It's got some adhesive on the back, and we want to separate it from this clear plastic that's over top the circuit boards. And we try to keep the adhesive in place so that we can use it when we put it on the new screen. So we just pull it back this way, and we just continue doing this until we removed all the insulation material. Okay, once we removed all the thermal insulation material, the old screen is completely free, and we can just take it and pull it off this pad and just put it aside. Okay, once we've put aside the old screen, we're going to bring out the new screen. I purchased this one from laptopscreen.com. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out of the packaging carefully. Go ahead and flip it upside down, connector side up, so the connector is facing the back panel, and we'll put it back down on this pad on top of the keyboard, just like the old one was placed. Okay, once we've placed the new screen on top of the keyboard, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the thermal insulation material back. So I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and kind of line the ridged part, line it up with the bottom edge of the screen, and line the right and left hand sides up and center it on the connector. So you see it's centered on the connector. Just going to go ahead and carefully drop it down and then just pat it down to secure it. Okay, once you've installed the thermal insulation material, we're going to go ahead and reconnect the connector. So we're going to go ahead and line this connector with the cable up with the connector on the LCD. Just line it up so they're centered on each other, and then carefully push the two together. We may need some help with a flathead screwdriver. So we'll go ahead and kind of push this cabled connector in like that until they're completely together. Okay, once we've reconnected the connector, we're going to go ahead and we're going to reattach this clear plastic tape that secures the connector on the thermal insulation material. And then we're going to go ahead and reattach the black tape that secures the cable. Okay, once we've reattached any tape that we'd removed when we took the original screen out, and all the connectors are connected, we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep the bottom portion of this LCD close to the back panel and flip up the top carefully, make sure we don't pull on the connector, and then lift up just a little bit and place the new LCD in the frame exactly how the original LCD was placed. And it's in. Okay, once we've got this new LCD secured to the frame, we're going to go ahead and grab the plastic bag where we stored the mounting screws that we took off the old LCD. And go ahead and reinstall the 8 screws. I've already started the lower right one, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to install the other 7 screws. Okay, once we've got this new LCD secured with all 8 screws, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to reinstall this plastic trim piece. So we just line it up. You can start in, say, the top right corner and just start snapping it in place. You just go around the whole perimeter and just snap it in. Okay, once we've got the black plastic trim piece snapped in place, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall these 4 corner screws. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the first one out of the bag here and install it in the upper right corner. Okay, we've done that. We're just going to do the same thing for the next 3. Finally, we're going to go ahead and reinstall these rubber bumper pads over top of the mounting screws. We'll just take them and press them in. And we're done. Okay, now that we've got everything put back together, let's see how the screen works. Hey, it looks good. It comes right on. The screen from laptopscreen.com looks like it works great.